Dropbear Panda.
Welcome to
Dropbear Panda.
Save the World.
Episode
63. That's right. And 63 episodes in 64 countries.
That's right. We are finally back to one more country
Yep.
over the number of episodes that we have.
Yeah, we've got some new listeners in Saudi Arabia.
What?
Yeah, that's brand new. We've got Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Chile.
And South America, or South Africa too, I think.
Yeah, South Africa.
Yep.
They've been around for about a month.
Yay!
These other ones are brand spanking new.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so welcome to Dropbear and Panda. Save the world.
The one thing I wanted to say before you do your little spiel that I know you have lined up, I wanted to do a special shout out to Tyler in Chile.
Yeah.
Tyler is the brother of a friend of Dropbear and Pandas named Michael. Michael wanted to single-handedly make sure that we got into Chile because his brother, Tyler, is there.
I love it.
And we said that we would give a special shout-out to Tyler.
Tyler, you rock.
Thank you very much, Tyler. We hope you enjoy this.
As much as we enjoyed putting it together.
And Michael, we're going to send you some socks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to send you some socks from the Friday Sock Company, ethically made, purposely mismatched socks.
That's right.
And they are amazing sponsors of ours.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for sharing us around the world.
Yeah, I love it. Mm-hmm. I've got some, let me see here. Oh, Clear Level Skaters from Uganda.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Nelly Melody and Milwaukee 28. He checked us out. And Rahi Concord. And we got some music from some of these people.
Oh, cool.
And it's kick-ass. So I'm going to put it in the notes. And then I'll reach out to them and see if they'd like some socks. I'll send them all the way to Africa.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah, I thought so.
Our last Facebook post did really well, actually.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of feedback. So
ridiculous.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of socks, why don't we do our sock jingle right now?
Yeah, let's do it. It's going to be a special episode, so let's go.
Reach for the top, reach for the socks, those Friday socks. Friday socks, ethically made. Dropbear Panda, love them, love them. Friday socks, designed in Canada, perfectly mismatched, freaky, freaky, freaky. Reach for the top, reach for the socks, those Friday socks. Reach for the top, those Friday socks.
And again, our sock jingles are from Rob Mitchelson, who magically makes these sock jingles for us.
That's right.
They are ridiculously
He's
silly.
like a musical elf.
A musical elf.
Yeah, you just leave him alone in the evening and you come back and you have an amazing jingle in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, remember last episode when Space Force got signed into being and we were like talking about getting Rob to do an actual theme song for Space Force? He did it.
Space Force, the men of the Space Force, the greatest force in space. We're probably the greatest force in space. We do great space. Men and also women of the Space Force. In space, there's no collusion. We built a wall in outer space. Martians are bad hombres. A lot of people are saying sad fake news in space. Believe me, by the way, China's moon base is not going to happen. Space Force, big league Space Force, tremendous men in space. The Martians do not have a clue. Believe me, I know Mars.
Tremendous man in space. That was tremendous. My tiny hands are clapping. So it's the new year.
It is the new year, and hindsight being 2020.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to do a sight joke, but you beat me to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sure did.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, nice.
I think we just lost all our new listeners.
Come back. Yeah, but we thought we'd do a special episode. This is more of it's not even a year in review because, people, there's too much of that.
We know how that year went, and we're just not going to speak of it again.
Moving on.
Yeah.
But we're going to do some reviews of stuff that we've seen. So,
and you all know what review you're waiting for.
oh, yeah.
The epic review.
The epic review. But you're going to have to wait.
Before the epic super duper review, we're going to do a little mini review.
Now it's time for Dropbear Panda's reviews.
So I went and saw the new Star Wars.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, with Bad Narwhal, and I went and see it. Went and saw it.
Yes.
And it was really good. We were in the seats that move.
I think I would probably hate that.
It was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I was not super keen on seeing Star Wars. Like I'm not like I like it. Obviously, I love Star Wars just like everybody else does, but I wasn't, like gotta see it, blah blah blah. But Bad Narwhal suggested that we go and that we get, what are they, DMX seats? Or is that's a rapper.
X gon' give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up.
BMX, LMNOP,
But they're, okay.
STD seats.
Wow. It was sticky.
Yeah.
But so these seats, they move and they vibrate and they you're,
STD seats.
wow. Anyway, it was really good. I was not aware that that's what was happening. I really wasn't fully informed going into this. So,
All of a sudden your balls are being like...
but no, it was pretty jarring. The very first thing. And so I had some nibs between my legs. It sounds weird.
Oh, I'm not even
Sounds
gonna
weird
go
when
there.
when I say that out loud.
Oh, man.
And I was holding some popcorn, and then the first thing happened, and almost shot my popcorn up in the air, and the nibs went flying, and it was a disaster.
Did you hit anybody?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's good.
But it was pretty close. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like it. What I like the most about it is sort of keeps your whole body moving. So you get a little bit of a core workout. You're whoever designs the movement to the screen does a fucking great job.
I will have to try it, I think, because the only time I've ever been in seats like that was for the Star Trek 4-dimensional virtual reality experience at Las Vegas like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I
and
think
that
they've
was
come a long
amazing.
ways.
But it was a virtual reality, like you put the headset on and it was like a 3D,
Wow.
4D movie Borg experience thing. So
Crazy.
but yeah, this in just a regular movie just doesn't sound like
It was really neat. Like, and I was like really into it, and then I got self-conscious because I thought maybe mine was the only seat that was moving, and like I looked like this total. I'm having so much fun. But like I looked down the line, and everybody's like moving, and everybody's got like a big smile on their face, and it's like it was so fun.
So do you think you would have enjoyed the movie without the moving seats though?
Yeah, but I think it adds something to it that I was not expecting.
But I think a movie should be enjoyable without the moving seats.
Well,
though,
for sure.
You know?
And I'm sure it was fine.
Yeah. So how
But-
was the movie though?
The movie was good. Like it was.
I've heard mixed reviews. So
Yeah, no, I'm going to go right down the middle. I mean, it was fine. It was a good movie. Certainly some plot holes.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm not exactly a Star Wars purist where I'll be like, ugh, thank God they had the moof in the last movie because
the color of the stitching on so-and-so's jacket was wrong.
Yeah.
And therefore this movie is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I will tell you though that like partway through the movie, I'm just like, holy shit, is Carrie Fisher still alive? I really thought that because like her scenes were incredible. And I was like, I know she passed away in 2016. But her presence on screen was incredible. And I'm like, is this CGI? Like, am I looking at, like, I couldn't wrap my brain around it. But it turns out, and people that know Star Wars already know this, is that they used footage from other movies and basically rewrote the script to be able to use her existing footage. Mm-hmm. And then they cut up some of the audio and stuff like that. But it's her face. And I think that they treated it really, really well.
Yeah,
like, it was so much better. Sorry to interrupt, but it's so much better than seeing a CGI'd actor.
Yeah, I had heard that they had promised not to CGI her, but
They did a great job.
They would have had to have done something to put her in the scenes that she wasn't actually in. But it's refreshing to know that they didn't.
Yeah,
because I remember that was the problem with the first movie in this trilogy was they CGI'd like a very young Carrie Fisher, and I was like, just use somebody else's back of her head, and that took me out of the movie completely. Just that one scene. So if they had CGI'd Carrie Fisher, I would have been like, I was blown away in the theater. I was like, I honestly thought that I was watching Carrie Fisher. I'm like, how could that be possible? But you kind of were.
Well, totally was.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I got back and I like was digging into like to find this stuff out.
Yeah.
It was her. Anyway, so well done. Movie makers.
Yeah, I will see the movie just so I can finish it up. I didn't enjoy the second one out of this trilogy. I thought it was dry and fairly dull. I didn't like it. I'm not a Star Wars purist, but I also am looking for a good movie that's entertaining and isn't dull,
totally.
But
it had action. You know? It had. I mean, Kylo Ren was good, and Rey is amazing. I love kick-ass women in movies.
Yeah, I just don't like characters that are boring and always talk like everything is so, like with that gravitas all the time. Like that was my problem with Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Like I hated Lord of the Rings, and it wasn't because the plot was bad or like the special effects were bad or the costuming was bad or the directing was bad, but the characters were so boring. Yeah. And the way they delivered all the lines was so boring. Just because it makes a good book doesn't mean it translates well on the screen. And I couldn't get over how dull everybody was.
You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.
It's a little bit like the last couple seasons of Supernatural we've seen, where everybody's talking like this.
Oh, once they realized they could all talk like the Batman voice drives me nuts. Yeah. It's like nobody has a personality. Yeah. So that's what drives me nuts about movies. Yeah. These days, but and I talked to somebody at work who loves Star Wars, like loves Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
and he's still like, Star Wars movies were never phenomenally good. He's like, what people need to do is just let that shit go and just go and enjoy a fun space movie. Yeah. He's like, I enjoyed it because I might be crazy about Star Wars, but I know that it's a
fun space movie. Yeah, totally.
There
and
you go.
I think that's yeah. So that's my takeaway is it was a fun space movie. I enjoyed it. Special effects were great. Seeing Carrie Fisher again was awesome. Mm-hmm. Space Mom. I like it. Anyway, so that's my review of Star Wars. I give it 4 out of 5 drop bears.
Wow.
Yeah.
You and I both didn't like the second one.
No, that was off-putting.
Yeah, the move.
And those, whatever those cute penguin things were, which I thought were adorable, but do we need those? Maybe for merchandising. Who knows?
Yeah, they always need something cute for merchandising.
Right. Well, we just watched Toys That Made Us, which was
the Star Wars episode. Oh, I love that show.
Super good. Anyway, so now it's time
for the epic, amazing, cat-tacular, Jellicle, super duper
review.
Catastrophic.
Oh my God, stop it.
Cats review.
Is that bamboo?
Dun dun dun. We're gonna put like
we'll do
lots of stuff in the things and the
Okay, so
pew, pew.
Our last podcast, I promised that we would be reviewing the movie Cats. I was so excited that I promised that that's what was going to happen, that we would go see it before our next podcast. And that happened.
Yeah, it did.
It's a podcast Christmas miracle.
It is something that we did. On the very last day of 2019, Dropbear dragged Panda to the theater.
I did.
And Panda said, the only way that I'm going to go see this is A, if it's for the podcast, B, if you pay for it,
Yep.
C, if you pay for all my dinner and everything as well, D, if you pay for all my drinks too.
Yeah.
And he agreed to all of that, which kind of disappointed me because it means I actually had to go do
Oh,
it.
I was making sure that there was no.
Should have asked for like a new car and yeah.
What? No.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw it. So before we get into, you can follow Panda's thoughts on our Facebook page.
Yes, I haven't posted it on our Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to do that yet. But
So you were, we sat at the very back of the theater so as not to disrupt the throng of people that were in there to watch this incredible movie.
I was surprised. There was like 25 other people in that theater.
Yeah. But we sat at the back because you were going to be doing a live updates,
Yep, I sure did.
which you did.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Which was a big hit. According to one person, they read those updates out at their New Year's Eve party, much to the happiness of the party goers at that party.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, anyways, keep going, Michael. Sorry to interrupt.
That's right. So anyway, so it's Cats, and just to set this stage, it was touted as one of the worst movies ever. Like, I'm not talking emoji movie bad, but like it cost $100 million to make,
There are reasons.
and it made $6.5 million in the opening weekend.
The first 2 minutes of the movie, I said out loud, "What the fuck?" Like literally, first 2 minutes. Maybe not even the first 2 minutes. Could have been the first minute.
Yeah. And I am going to do my best not to do any cat puns during this entire thing, because I've watched enough reviews of this to be like, I'm sick of it. Like, I just can't anymore. But I will tell you this.
Just being a pussy.
I love that movie.
I'll see myself out.
I loved it. I loved it.
You're a terrible person.
I loved it.
And why did you love it?
It was everything I wanted the movie to be.
And you wanted it to be?
I wanted it to be as bad as, but people.
Thank you. And it was bad.
Oh, it was so good.
Because it was bad.
It was so good. It was great. I can't recommend seeing this movie enough. Like, I have so many great things to say about it. because
it was so bad.
I will, like, for all the star power there was in that thing, what I loved about it is A, it looked like they were having fun. B,
They didn't realize it was so bad.
B, they owned it. They brought their A game, and they rocked their cat selves. It was great.
They were convinced that this was going to be the big Christmas movie of 2019 is what I think. I mean, you got Judi Dench in it. You have Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Right?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Who I
Taylor
don't think
Swift.
has a great track record of movies, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
TV shows, he's got a great agent for that, but movies, I think he's
I
missed.
still think he'd make the best James Bond.
Oh, James Bond for sure. No question. But yeah, like the casting technically.
Rebel?
Yeah, let's so the casting Rebel was terrible. But
I love her. I love
She
her
was-
crotch.
she was okay. Let's get this part out of the way first.
Okay, all right.
The casting, the people that they actually cast are all singularly very good actors and
Excellent.
performers.
Yeah.
The fur rendering,
Outstanding.
It looked like you could actually put your hand
Oh yeah.
and pet everyone.
Yeah, and it makes me a little uncomfortable, but pleased.
Yeah. So and I mean it's Andrew Lloyd Webber. So on one hand, the music was very good.
Yeah.
the dancing, like, again, everybody was technically very talented.
I didn't like the wire dancing though. Like when they were.
No, they should have just had
weird.
dancing. Like the
Yeah.
cat, just don't have them fly cat
Yeah.
jumping. Just have them jump, right? Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
But other than that, when you put all that together, though, it made this giant monstrosity, horrible, like
I've seen this.
brain melting gong show.
I saw Cats. My dad took me to see Cats when I was young. Like, and I want to say 13, 14.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So it'd be in the 80s, came to the Jubilee, and I thought it was fantastic. I think it was like, it was the second musical I'd ever seen. I'd seen Jesus Christ Superstar when I was really young, which I hated. And then Cats, and I was just like, this is incredible. Because it was like, the costumes were fantastic. The songs were catchy. I really had no idea what it was about, but it didn't matter because it was stage. Never, ever, ever should this have been made into a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and that pains me to say, because if they hadn't made this into a movie, I never would have been able to see it. And that would have made me sad because it was freaking amazing.
Because it was so terrible. So wow. Like just, and I've seen bad movies, but generally for the most part, it's because their budget was like $5,000 or $0. Like we've made some zero budget, pretty crappy stuff.
It's 3 syllables, not 2. Jaguar.
That's the dumbest name I've ever heard.
But it's also fun because it's zero budget and you're like, this is terrible and it's terrible and it's great because it's terrible. Yeah. This was $100 million movie.
Yeah.
$100 million.
Yeah.
They were convinced that this was going to be the biggest thing. They put it up with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Thinking that it was going to be able to compete against Star Wars.
Yeah.
This wasn't supposed to be a disaster.
Yeah.
Which is what makes it even more mind-bogglingly ridiculous. If they had made this movie, like, if they had 100 stars and actors do voiceovers for a Cats movie where the cats were all CGI'd actual cats.
Yeah.
Or like Pixar animated cats or something, that would have been great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Jennifer Hudson is an amazing like singer, but she sang Memory and it wasn't good, and she had snot like coming out of her nose for like most of it. And on one hand you're like, well, you can't wipe that away, I guess, because continuity, but then you're like, just do a new take without having snot coming out of her nose. It was disgusting and I gagged. Like it was so it was awful. And then I'm like, why did she I can't do this.
It was unfortunate. And I mean, here's the thing that I was picking up from a lot of those performances is that they were really into it. Like they were 100% committed to this. And I want to say that probably the director's choice to leave the mucus on the cat person was to show the power and emotion that they're, because I can't imagine do you know what I mean? Because you had to you had to have that snot from, like, I don't know how many takes they did, but it had to stay there because the snot continuity was incredible, right?
Well, that's what I said.
From shot to shot. Why?
It was, I was like, I need to, was that the point where I put my head down on the chair in front of me? I can't remember, but there was a point where I actually said that I can't do it anymore. And I put my head down on the chair in front of me. Luckily, there was nobody sitting in front of me. There was a point where people on the other side of the theater just gave up and just were having normal conversations in the last 20 minutes. Like Like, not even whispering. They were just talking, and I don't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But they just gave no shits. And the funny thing is when you know the rest of the theater gives no shits is because nobody turned around to tell them to
Shush
shut
them.
the fuck up. Everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least they have the balls to do it because we don't.
Yeah. It was okay, so there's so many weird things that happened in the movie that I loved.
We might have spoilers, but
yeah, so let's put this out there that but I mean, Cats has been around since what, in 1981 is when it was on Broadway.
see, and I didn't know the story of Cats. I've never seen it.
Right.
But I was also told that it is the worst musical ever.
Well, it made it like $3.5 billion.
It did, but what I was told is that it's and this is how I explained it to Bad Narwhal, is that it might be the musical that's made the most money and has been on Broadway for like 8,000 billion weeks or something like that. It's the same reason why like I call it 4 on the floor music.
Yeah.
Your very basic pop music is so friggin' popular. It's not because it's the best music.
Yeah.
It's just the easiest music, and it's the most understandable, and it's just that like Britney Spears, right? Yeah. She's got some talent. I mean, she's a better singer and dancer than I will ever be, but it's very simple, it's very easy, and it's sort of universal for most people.
Yeah.
Cats is sort of the same thing.
Do you know? Yeah.
In the musical
Yeah.
theater world, I guess.
They did something like 7,400 shows on Broadway.
Oh, it's insane.
And like 8,500 or something in London.
Yeah.
Right? Like, good God.
Yeah. But there's also, I mean, there's also taste and you know.
Oh, sure.
You know, like I remember seeing in the 80s when I was a kid, the costuming for Cats was outstanding.
Yeah.
Like, if they had done that even for the movie, like the actual 80s cat costumes.
Let's talk about the costuming for a second. Let's talk about Rebel.
Oh.
And let's forgo the Rebel's crotch, which I loved.
Yeah, bitch!
Rebel Wilson.
But the fact that she unzipped herself to reveal another little cat was just the weirdest choice.
Why are the cats wearing the skins of other cats?
They're fallen enemies.
Like,
Or sneakers. Did you notice, like, okay, so we've seen people like talk about the shoulder movements, right?
Yeah.
Like, of these cats. But did you notice like how they're all sort of poised? Like, they had the weirdest, like, when you go see this movie, pay attention to background actors.
don't go see this movie.
Go see this movie. You have to see this movie. It is a must see. 5 out of 5 Drop Bears agree that you have to see this movie in theaters.
Ugh.
But the way that they were poised, it looked like they just had, like, all of them just came back from citrus enemas. You know, they're like,
I have no response to that. That's amazing. It's
true,
It's
though,
funny.
right?
You did turn to me. You're like, because we have a cat named Newton, and he looks at me and he's like, Newton doesn't walk like that. I'm like, no, no, he doesn't. Like, I've seen Newton, like, you know, lick his tail with his leg up in the air, which Judi Dench did.
oh my
Which
God.
was terrifying.
I'm so glad I didn't have anything in my mouth because it would have been a spit take for sure. Speaking of spit take,
Okay,
what
wait,
about
we
that?
haven't finished.
Okay, all right, right.
We haven't finished the costume yet. So first of all, these cats are wearing the skins of other cats. Rebel Wilson looks like she's a naked cat besides a collar, which is just a cat, right? And then she's singing, and then she zippers off her fur, and then she's got other fur underneath
With a costume
with a vest,
What the fuck?
like a Broadway vest. And then
It was surreal.
it was
It was so good. It was so good.
like I don't know what, and I knew this was coming at some point because I read other weird reviews.
Oh, see, I didn't read any.
But you don't understand, guys, until it actually happens, how awful this is. Like, I went prepared. I was like, okay, this is going to be terrible. And I was looking forward to a few of the train wrecks that I've heard of. But seriously, guys, you have no idea. You really don't until you see it. If you dare to see it. Like,
You must see it.
you don't even need drugs
must
for
see
this.
it.
This is
Oh,
like,
go straight, like
oh,
100%.
yeah, go.
Yeah. Don't alter anything.
No, it's insane.
Yeah.
And then the weird cockroaches and the mice,
Oh, that was
which
disconcerting.
also have like,
My biggest challenge with this whole movie was the scale of things.
we have talked that you have a weird scale phobia.
Yeah, it's like I don't like unusually sized things, and the cats were wrong.
The cats were the size of tiny.
Like New York rats, maybe.
Oh, New York rats are bigger than those cats. The cats. So there's a
We've
scene.
seen some rats.
There's a scene where Victoria the cat goes and like runs around a human's house, and she comes out and she's got a human ring around her wrist.
Yeah,
Like,
this is weird.
they're tiny cat. Like,
Well, now to be fair, if you go back to the original, like where this whole thing came from, which is T.S. Eliot's poem.
hell, like
T.S. Eliot's poem, he talks about Jellicle cats being small cats, tiny cats.
so they're like mystical tiny cats because they're also magic. There's two magical cats.
Well, yes, that is a weird thing. I ended up printing off his poem.
But they also said to Victoria, "You're not a Jellicle cat yet."
Right.
But she was tiny.
Yeah.
So then I was like, so that's when I was like, okay, Jellicle means like street gang cats. You're not a part of our gang yet. But then they're like, no, you have to sing your heart out to be reborn as a different Jellicle cat. And you're like, why would you want to be a different Jellicle cat if you want your life to be better? So you're just going to be a different gang cat? So they have this whole song about, and this is just a problem with the musical in general, a whole song about Jellicle. Jellicle, 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 Jellicle. And then, but they don't actually say what Jellicle means, probably because they just want it to rhyme with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Well,
And then, but then they have this other song about how cats have 3 names. And you're like, but I just want to know what Jellicle is. Sing about that instead.
well, I'm here to help.
Oh!
So Jellicle, the word Jellicle, I looked it up, is from a young child's speech impediment.
Because of course it is.
Yeah. So T.S. Elliot wrote a book called Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats.
And this is when everybody was on cocaine all the time.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this from like so
That
he
explains.
so T.S. Eliot was born 1888,
Cocaine. Yeah, okay.
died 1965. Cocaine gum, cocaine everything, and he had a poem that he wrote that's in this book called "The Song of the Jellicles," and the Jellicle cat. And this is right from our sponsor, not our sponsor at all, Wikipedia, that somebody wrote in that basically this came from his infant niece and her inability to say the words "dear little cat." Apparently she said Jellicle cat instead of dear little cat.
So
this whole thing, the moment that we're in right now, is because T.S. Eliot's niece couldn't pronounce 3 simple English words. And the reason why I run around the house this morning singing Jellicle cat, Jellicle cat, Jellicle cat is because of T.S. Eliot's niece.
anyone out there, please help me.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there you go.
So you're hearing it here 1st, everyone,
Jellicle.
because there are YouTube videos out there where all people are just like, what the fuck is Jellicle?
Yeah.
Because I looked up what Jellicle was, and what came up right now, because the internet is so confused after this movie, is what the fuck is Jellicle? And there's
There you go.
actually. So thank you.
You're welcome. And now you know. And so I went.
But he didn't have to take it literal, though, as in like a 6-inch tall cat. Okay, Google, what does Jellicle mean?
On the website cosmopolitan.com, they say, easy, a Jellicle is a cat. Specifically, a scruffy type of cat that was first introduced in T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
See, everyone just needs a Google machine.
So here we go. This is from TS Elliot, the Song of the Jellicles.
How long is it?
I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Oh, good.
Jellicle Cats come out tonight. Jellicle Cats come one, come all. Jellicle moon is shining bright. Jellicles come to the Jellicle ball. This whole poem, which pretty much starts with Jellicle Cats on everything, is basically the song that Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote. Like, if you read it, it's incredible. Their Jellicle Cats are black and white. Jellicle Cats are rather small. Jellicle Cats are merry and bright, and pleasant to hear when they caterwaul.
So,
They even talk about going to the toilet.
Jesus Christ.
It's true. Yeah.
So when we post this podcast, we need to make sure that we know what Jellicle is, because I think part of my confusion was what the fuck is a Jellicle. Even my secret friend, and if anyone wants to know who my secret friend is, you can go to our Facebook.
I see you, secret friend.
She yelled at the end, but I still don't know what the fucking Jellicle is. Which was hilarious.
I loved it. I loved this. Yeah. Oh, did you know that Andrew Lloyd Webber started writing music to T.S. Eliot T.S. Eliot poems in 1977?
We need to go back in time, and instead of killing Hitler, we need to kill T.S. Eliot. I think that's what we actually have to do.
Wow.
I figured it out.
That took a dark turn.
I figured it out.
Yeah. So 1977 to 1981. So goes up in Broadway, 1981, back up a year, 1980. So Andrew Lloyd Webber basically wrote from 77 to 1980 Cats, based on the work of T.S. Eliot.
Which was based on his niece who
couldn't speak.
Cool.
who had a speech impediment.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
Let's talk about milk.
Milk! It does the body good!
Oh, my God. Well, okay, yes. Let's talk about milk. Let's talk about Sir Ian.
Oh, I was going to start with the other scene.
Okay, you go.
No, you go. Because it all kind of ties together in a creepy... suggestive, creepy.
Well, which one
way.
came first? Because it's
the
other one,
spurting milk.
Yeah. So talk about spit takes.
Yeah.
Let's start there. That's a better place to start.
There is a scene. There is a dance number with a cat. I'm not going to look up everybody's names because I'm too lazy. The handsome cat, one of the handsome cats. He comes in to sing his song about who he is and how handsome he is. And all the female cats are like, oh, we love him because he's so handsome.
I'm gonna meow the out of you.
Did you notice that the cat's tails go straight up in the air? Like, have you ever seen a cat in heat?
Newton was neutered.
Right.
So...
But like a lot of the movie, there's probably about 3 or 4 times in the movie that all the cats like suddenly like, and their tails go up in the air like they got the juicy bum.
Well, when Newton's happy, his tail goes up and it
crooks.
It crooks a little bit at the end, but it's usually when I'm bringing him food or whatever. So when the tails go up, that means they're happy, not necessarily when they're in heat. But I've never seen Newton, like, Newton's never sprayed or anything like that because he was neutered when he was a kid.
Speaking of spraying.
Anyways, so he's singing about how he's handsome and what his name is, because that's apparently what all cats is
right.
They just sing about who they are and
then go away.
Yeah, it's stupid. They end up in a milk bar.
Yeah.
Because it's actually called a milk bar.
Yeah. It's like a little droogies. Wasn't that like right out of...
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Hi there, my little droogies.
Yes, Clockwork Orange. So that's the first thing I thought of. But I was like, oh God,
this guy singing in the rain.
This is gonna go dark.
Just singing in the rain.
But instead of going dark, it went dark in a different way.
Totally. I was waiting for the porn.
Well,
it
basically happened.
Yeah.
Just without the nudity, because he's singing about how hot he is, and all these female cats are like, oh, he's so handsome and whatever. He opens up the spigot and all this milk comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Spurting out.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I look over at Dropbear. Dropbear's jaw is like hitting the floor, but he's also got his hand half over his face, like, what the hell is going? What? So I look back, and the female cats are licking up this milk out of the spigot and out of the saucers of milk down on the counter.
Oh, which is spilling off.
And then there's a shot from the ceiling down, and there's spilled milk all over. And then this male cat is up on the counter dancing, and there's a line of female cats just in front of him, all looking up at him like some very suggestive porn shots that I'm sure other people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was
outstanding.
My brain exploded into a million pieces.
I'm trying to think.
And I was like, what? Not that if little kids watch this, not that they would have any clue what was going on, but I was like, oh my God, like
the whole thing was rife with sexual tension
everywhere.
And then, yeah.
I think I saw one review from last week where somebody was like, the Cats movie ended. I'm strangely turned on. I think I need to kill myself now.
No, there's this
spread legs everywhere and crotches and
and when Judi Dench spread her legs, I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
But you hated that part because when that part happened, you went, oh God. I heard you.
Why?
I heard you.
Yeah.
Why are they so sexy?
Hip hop, crunk, attack.
They make me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, because it came out of nowhere.
And Ian McClellan.
I didn't know she was that flexible.
Maybe it wasn't even her body, or maybe it was. Good for her.
Yeah.
But then
I love you, Judy.
A scene opens with Ian McClellan lapping milk out of a saucer with his tongue out, and someone in the audience actually went, oh, like out loud and loud.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, smells like wet fur and sex.
And as somebody on my Facebook wrote, but they were given little hands. Just drink the fucking milk with your hands. Like, pick it up and just, why would you do that?
It was so weird.
And then I'm wondering if you can actually take back knighthoods.
Yo.
Because...
No, see, and I love all these people that were in it, and I love this movie so much. And I think one of my favorite moments was, I mean, obviously when they launched the singer into the sun.
They're all singing so they can die, because do they need the next life of 9 lives?
I don't know.
Or
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But when Judi Dench and they're on top of the lion thing, was that Trafalgar Square? Where was that?
I don't fucking know.
So they're on the lion's head, and then I'll never get this out of my brain. When Judi Dench turns to the camera
and breaks the fourth wall.
wall shatters, and then she goes on and sings for 3-4 minutes.
You know, and
like, I mean, damn, great performance.
No, it was not. The thing is, so in Broadway musicals and like Shakespeare plays and whatever, the fourth wall is broken all the time. But throughout this entire movie, the fourth wall was not broken once.
Nope.
Until that moment. Yeah. That's why it was so
jarring.
Well, besides the fact that she was like a half cat, half human hybrid.
She looked like the cowardly lion from like the 1950s Alice in Wonderland.
With a bit of the island of Dr. Moreau.
Not Alice in Wonderland.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
With a bit of Island of Dr. Moreau.
A lot more Moreau than Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, besides that part, the reason why it was so off-putting was because it wasn't in the entire movie the rest of the time, right? And it was long. It was like 3.5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they just sang that stupid, weird ending song about how cats aren't dogs, you know, fine. But
it's one of those things that I think might play well on stage.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Like, oh.
But if she had sang that song not to the camera, it wouldn't have been so fucking weird. It would have been just as weird as the rest of the movie, but that's why it was so jarring, was because
It's really weird.
And I'm assuming we saw the movie fixed because they had sent
an emergency
patch, right? But there were still parts about the CGI that weren't
right. Like we assume it's a green screen floor, but the floor never met the feet in some places.
Yeah, so there were some places, sort of like in a video game, where you're looking at a character. Yeah, you're looking at your character walking around, or you know that you're talking to a secondary character that could be interchanged with a different character, right? So the feet kind of hover, sort of, because you know that it can be replaced.
It's like an inch.
Yeah, an inch or half an inch.
Yeah.
So we were watching these people stand on the street and inside one of the rooms there, and I go to Dropbear and I said, "Look at their feet. They're kind of hovering and shaking because you could tell they weren't planted on the ground."
Yeah.
And I mean, if it was a really good CGI green screen, they would be planted, or they would use the same floor. I mean,
sure.
I'm not a computer wizard. Like I don't know how this all works, but it was very. I mean, if you didn't look at their feet, you wouldn't have noticed, honestly. But when you did look at their feet, I think I might have looked at their feet because I was like, well, they have human hands. I wonder what their feet look like.
Well, some had human feet, some had cat feet, some had sneakers.
Yeah, well, the breakdancers had sneakers, and that's why I was like, these guys have sneakers, but Judi Dench's feet looked like cat feet. Like I didn't.
But some of the other people had like human feet. Like it was weird.
Yeah. So I'm assuming we watched the patch version, but they didn't catch everything, or they couldn't fix everything. And I'm wondering if it was like the Ghostbusters story, where they had a deadline and they just didn't have enough time because they only had 7 months to put it together instead of like 2 years to put it together, right? So they just sent out what they could, which really sucks for a movie. Like, you can't rush something that big and that epic. There's no way you can get it all right.
I think
which is really actually too bad.
The problem with this movie, and I'll say that only because I really like this movie. I'm going to say it again and again and again. I might see it again. Like, I might buy it on iTunes when it comes out.
You know, I say that I need therapy after watching this movie. I think you just need therapy in general because you're insane.
Yeah. But I that's how much I love it. And I love what they've done with it in the fact that they went for the play, the musical, like almost word for word, note for note, except for some stupid cat jokes and some shit that didn't need to be in there. What I think that they probably should have done, which would have made it a good movie, like one that's actually watchable and enjoyable, that's not, my twisted take on it all, is if they wrote out some character arcs. If they, tied this jumbled Frankenstein, musical cat thing together into a cohesive narrative, it could have been really special.
If they did the Cats movie, but not the Cats
play. Yeah. Because it just, and I said it at the beginning, this never should have been made into a movie verbatim. Like, it shouldn't have.
No.
I'm glad it did. I'm super glad that they did, because it's fantastic.
Well, and I was thinking maybe, how they do at Cineplex is they videotape Broadway shows and then put them on the big screen.
Right.
If they did that would have been great.
Right.
Because it's not an actual movie, but it's
Into the Woods. They did a great job of that. Right?
Yeah, but no, they made Into the Woods into a movie though.
No, I know, but which with actual, they didn't follow it exactly. Mostly the same.
Yeah. They did.
But actually, that's a bad example.
Sweeney Todd as well.
But those all had stories.
Yeah, that's true.
Those all
and
had cohesive
they were actual
narratives.
people for the most part, and not.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my point. There is that if they would have created a narrative arc for these cats and said, we're going to honor the spirit of the musical, but we're going to make it something that's watchable.
And not the CGI cat people with cat jackets. And half of them have different feet than the other cats. And
no cat butts. Anyway.
So Dropbear so these people had human butts.
Yeah.
I mean, covered, but Dropbear was looking for the little star anuses under the tails.
Yeah. I'm so used to seeing that with cats. And it was weird that it was off-putting that they weren't there. I mean, it probably would have been super off-putting if they were there. Like, I take that back.
There was also the dance with Judi Dench where they were moving their shoulders and it looked like they were going to all have hairballs.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was amazing.
And the weird twitchy tail dance and the catnip thing and the like seriously, within the first minute or two, I said, "What the fuck?" And I looked over at Dropbear, and he looked mortified.
I honestly didn't think. I think the reason why I like it so much because I didn't think I was going to be able to sit through the whole thing.
You didn't want to go to the pee halfway through because
I didn't want to miss a thing. I'm fully invested in this movie.
When Judi Dench showed up, somebody did walk out as well.
Yeah.
She gathered her stuff up and left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so let's tie this up with a bow. What's the rating?
-6.
-6
out of 1 billion.
Really that bad? Hey,
it was awful. And the only reason why I got through it was because I could Facebook comment the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen bad movies. I am not somebody who can go watch bad movies. I've done that at parties before, I guess. I think you and I have been to a couple friends' houses where they're like, let's watch really bad movies. And I can't do it. Like, it's not fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I just have to be in a really good mood for it or what, but I can't. So I am surprised. It was awful. It was gloriously awful, I guess is how I have to put it. Out of how awful it is, I'd say 5 out of 5 awfulness.
Oh, there you go.
But I can't give it anything.
So as a movie, so my rating is I'm going to give it 1 out of 5 drop bears for the fact that
it was put together.
And in the time that it was put together and the things that they got right were really outstanding. The whole thing really though is just an unfortunate mess.
Oh, it was awful.
And I felt really terrible for the really talented people, all of them, like that were in this thing, cast and crew alike, that's what came out of it. Because I can just imagine how much of their heart and soul they put into building this thing. Because nobody put it together to be bad, as you said.
No, and we saw some footage today actually of them filming and rehearsing, and I mean the dance moves are incredible, like the tap dancing and the ballet dancing and you know, like hard work. Really hard work, but it's really disappointing at how awful it is. Yeah. Like it's just, and I really hope that people's careers aren't destroyed by this. Yeah. Because individually, honestly, all these people are very good.
James Corden, we didn't even mention him, and he did James Corden.
Yeah, James Corden was just James Corden, and
anyway, I'll tie it up with. So as an actual piece of cinema, it's a 1 out of 5 for me. As an experience, it's a 5 out of 5. And if you have the opportunity to go see it, because here's the thing: when Judi Dench finished her song, I was like the guy clapping like a madman, and at the end, the entire audience clapped.
I wouldn't say the entire audience clapped, but the reason why they also clapped,
20 out of 25 of us clapped.
Because it was over and a couple people did swear and 2 people yelled at the theater and a couple people were like, what the fuck was that?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You know, so
I loved it.
They were clapping because it was so terrible.
I loved it. I think it's going to become a cult classic. I think that's where it's destined to be a cult classic somewhere. And it didn't invent a porn genre, but it certainly solidified one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's true. That is a thing.
What did you say? Furry force without the genitals?
Yeah, furry force without the genitals. There, and I'm pretty sure that we have posted furry force before.
Oh yeah. Musk attack.
It is a glorious short from College Humor.
Yeah.
And it's very disturbing.
Yeah.
About
it's like Rocksteady and Bebop.
Human animal hybrid superheroes, and it's
yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know if this was a review as much as a brain dump.
Yeah, therapy session. Well, no, we reviewed it. It's good. It was really good. I suggest, I can't say this many more times. You have to see it. You do.
You don't.
You do. You should.
You don't have to see it.
You should see it.
If you do see it, though, please post your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we want to know how it all went down.
Tag us on it.
I want to know. I have some people on my personal Facebook wall who still thinks that they are going to love it. And they might be like Dropbear, where they're going to love it because they hate it.
I love it so much. Like, I woke up with a smile on my face.
It is awful. And I feel really bad for saying it, but it is truly, truly an awful movie. Okay, Google, who directed the movie Cats?
Cats was directed by Tom Hooper. According to Wikipedia, Thomas George Hooper is a British-Australian film and television director. Hooper began making short films as a teenager and had his first professional short, Painted Faces, broadcast on Channel 4 in 1992. At Oxford University, Hooper directed plays and television commercials.
So Google's an idiot. According to IMDb, he directed The Danish Girl, Les Miserables, in 2012, The King's Speech, and yeah, those are the big movies that he's actually directed. I haven't seen any of those, but The King's Speech was apparently phenomenally good. And he's done Les Mis, so it's not like he doesn't know how to direct a musical. And I don't think Les Mis was supposed to be that bad. So
I don't know, but I guess look at does Les Mis have a story? Does it have a narrative arc?
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
Does it have cats?
No. I don't think it does.
So there you go.
It has a lot of Frenchmen, though.
Oui.
I'm French. Why do you think I have this outrageous accent, you silly king?
All right.
Well,
I've been Dropbear.
I've been Panda.
Together we have saved the world.
Because we watched a movie, so you don't have to.
But you should.
Okay, Google, say goodbye.
Like a Canadian chip would say, let's catch up later.
Space Force, the men of the Space Force, the greatest force in space. We're probably the greatest force in space. We do great space. Men and also women of the Space Force. In space, there's no collusion. We built a wall in outer space. Martians are bad on race. A lot of people are saying sad fake news in space. Believe me, by the way, China's moon base is not going to happen. Space Force, big league Space Force, tremendous men in space. The Martians do not have a clue. Believe